Hello guys, how are you? I hope everyone is well. I hope everyone got the weekend that they actually wanted. I hope you guys actually enjoyed your weekend. So now we're back to work. So I'm gonna be actually looking at gold on a 15-minute time frame. So I'm actually recording this screen for I'm actually recording this screen so I can show you guys what's gonna happen this coming week on gold. Well, according to my analysis, what's gonna happen? As you can see, I have things going on here, so I'm gonna start this here. So gold came here, played around this area, and actually decided to actually go up, and it consolidated around this areas. That's where I had to put my support around these areas. As you can see, that gold actually was unable to break this support. That's when I could notice that okay, this might actually be a uptrend, because now gold is shooting up but indirectly. So gold came here and I had my resistance here. So gold actually rejected this resistance here for the first time, second time, and the third time, and actually tried to go down, but it shot up and actually broke this resistance here and came back for a retest. This was actually a beautiful trade, guys. This was actually a beautiful trade. There are people who actually capitalized with this move. There are actually people who actually capitalized with this move. There are people who actually saw an opportunity that okay, the market actually was rejecting these areas, broke here, and came back for a retest and treat this as a support. So a resistance turned into a support. That's exactly what's happened. A resistance turned into a support and a shot to the upside. This was a bad move. This I couldn't analyze this, so I had to leave gold to actually play around. And finally it came to this point and it consolidated, and I noticed that okay, gold actually rejected this area, the third time gold shot to the upside. Gold shot to the upside and came here, rejected here, and rejected here, and shot to the downside. And as you can see, guys, that we have our first touch here. Is a first touch here, second touch, third touch, and gold compulsively shot to the downside. We have our first touch, second touch, third touch, gold compulsively shot to the upside. So no, gold was actually playing around these areas. So I saw okay, this is rejecting, we can't sell this. Came here and I saw these two rejection candlesticks. Look at this rejection, this is big. So I knew someone who actually got an opportunity and actually entered the market here, and they went out. They were targeting these areas. They're actually targeting these areas right here. So what happened? Gold finally broke that resistance. So now our next move is that we're actually waiting for gold to come back to retest these areas just here and shoot up to the upside until these areas, and then from there, that's when we're gonna see, is gold going to reject these areas, or is it going to break, come back for a retest, and continue shooting to the upside. But as I'm zooming out, I can see that gold has been going down. So now possibilities are gold can actually come and break this resistance here, come back for a retest, and continue shooting to the upside. As I was saying, now we're actually looking to let me put this here. We're actually looking to capitalize on gold only if it comes after. We're waiting for a retest here. So we're actually waiting for a retest before buying this. So if the market does come to these areas and retest these areas, that's when we're gonna be able to enter the market until these areas here, and after here, that's when we're gonna see. But for this coming week, I think gold is gonna be shooting to the upside until these levels right here. I see a potential of gold shooting up to the upside until this potential here, until this I see gold coming to this areas here. Because now, as you can see, we have an impulse correction, impulse correction, impulse again, correction, impulse. Now we're having a correction until this areas. Then we're looking to take gold until this areas, and that's when we're gonna see if we are locking profit or we are closing. I'm waiting for the next move, but the only time we're gonna be able to enter this trade if is that gold comes here for a retest, and then that's when we're gonna be taking a buy. So guys, this video is straight to the point. Let's see how the market actually is responding to us. Thank you for watching this video.
Hey guys, what's up? This is your FX Chasers mentor, Tremaine. So today I'm going to be doing a market forecast, weekly breakdown of AUDCHF. So we have all of this previous structure that we have there. I'm not really going to go into that. It's not quite important. So what we're actually going to speak about is the most recent price action. So most recent price action, guys, what we can notice is that we had a push from this level here all the way down into these support areas. We came back, created a lower high and violated these previous lows nice and impulsively to the downside. So if we look at the nature of this price action, we can clearly see that this is our impulsive move, or this is our impulsive phase all over here, our APC, and then this is our corrective move considering recent price action. So what we will do, or what I have done already on my own, is basically marked out my highest points of this corrective structure. So we'll just go on to the 1 hour just to observe that much more clearly. So on the 1 hour, basically what we can see is this 3-touch structure, where we basically have our first touch here, our second touch here, and the market is currently at our third touch, and we can see a smaller corrective structure at the third touch of this resistance trend line. So basically what I'm gonna do now is go down onto the 15-minute just so that I can show you guys this corrective structure, and we'll speak about what the plan is and what's the intention for AUDCHF going through the week. So on AUDCHF, we can see that we have this small ascending structure at the third touch of our larger time frame structure. So what we can be expecting out of AUDCHF is for this market to either give us this third touch of this trend line before showing us some signs of reversal, which will then obviously be our entry criteria being met. Once we see this reversal at our resistance trend line, then we'll be looking for that risk entry up the top here. If the market does not give us that risk entry, guys, what we're going to be waiting for is for this market to actually violate structure to the downside. We'll then be trading below this ascending structure. We'll also be trading back within this larger time frame ascending structure. Once we see that break back into structure, then all we wait for is that corrective structure or that continuation pattern to show us some confirmation for this move to the downside. So on AUDCHF, guys, we are bearish bias for the week. We are waiting for the market to essentially give us some reasons to enter this market with our bearish bias. So let's just quickly summarize, guys, and we'll just basically draw out on our H1 what we're looking for. I guess I'll leave that there. We're looking for this market to give us entries to the downside, where we can actually put our potential targets of this market. We can have our first targets at these potential support areas. Let's just get that rectangle. We can have our first target at these potential support areas over here. If the market does actually break through these support areas, then we will be looking for our long-term targets all the way down at the 90% rule of this larger time frame structure, which is at these support areas over here. So guys, there is a lot of downside potential on AUDCHF. What I will be hoping for is for us to actually get involved in this short move, exit here, and then look for another entry if we're going to see that long-term downside continuation out of AUDCHF, guys. So this is our weekly forecast for AUDCHF. I have one more pair prepared for you guys. That's CADJPY. So we'll go into CADJPY now. So CADJPY is essentially giving us a very similar setup to Aussie Swiss franc. So what we can see, larger time frame structure, guys, we do have some sort of an ascending structure, and we do know that ascending structures normally break to the downside. So then again, guys, at our third touch of this larger time frame ascending structure, if we go down onto the H1, we can see that we also have this smaller time frame corrective structure. So what we will be looking for on CADJPY, guys, we do have our first touch. Let's just get that brush tool so we're all together. We do have this first touch in these areas over here. We do have our second touch right there. Let's just draw that in, and this is our third touch of this market. So from this point, guys, all we are waiting for is for our entry criteria to kind of present itself. So whether we find our entry criteria in the form of, for example, a head and shoulder structure, which is obviously a reversal structure, doesn't really matter what the entry criteria is. All we want to see is this market showing us commitment for this move to the downside. So we can either see that commitment in the form of a reversal structure, because we are at the third touch or are at the potential end of this ascending structure, or we could see that commitment by a push to the downside and then that corrective structure to give us that reduced risk entry with our first targets for this position. Let's just get this arrow just so that we know exactly what we're doing. Let's erase all of this. So we're looking for those downside targets. Obviously from this area, our first targets for this position will be at the 90% rule of this smaller time frame corrective structure, guys. So we're hoping to get into this market and actually exit our position when we get to this point, of which we'll then start looking for another potential entry for any bearish continuation out of CADJPY, because guys, we are in a larger time frame corrective structure to the upside, and these structures also do have the potential to break to the downside. So just like Aussie Swiss franc, there is a lot of potential for us to make these short-term moves to the downside, and as well as these long-term moves to the downside. We are going to have to be reactive and not predictive. So we are waiting for the market to provide us with our entry criteria before we plan on actually executing or entering these trades. I hope you guys enjoyed this weekly market breakdown. This is Tremaine, your FX Chasers mentor.